Hey, what is it guys? Welcome back to this game's tutorial. Today we create some kind of little pop-up manager. Now it is being old inside of our preloader, and it is something that is not being destroyed on load, so we can pretty much just call it from anywhere. Let me give you an example really quick. If we try to launch this ad, or not, we're actually connected to the internet, so that's going to succeed. Let's actually try buying a level without gold. It pretty much says, too poor, you don't have enough gold to afford this upgrade. Now if we head over to this thing here where we convert currency, it says not enough rock, you need at least 10 rocks in order to do this. And it just adapts to whatever I send him as a parameter. Whenever I click on one of these things, so whenever it's up, I'm not allowed to click on the objects beneath it. So it pretty much just blocks my cast, but if I click anywhere, it removes it. Now if I head in the game, same thing happens here. Same thing happens here. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today, guys. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so let's take a look at what we had last episode. Pretty much, well, we had our ads playing, so it's a really good step towards finishing this game. And I'm just going to show you something really quickly. So say we do run an ad. Now imagine the ad is like, let's try to start playing, but then the user is not connected to the internet because maybe he's in the bus and he doesn't have 3G, stuff like that. Then the ad is not going to be spawned, and it is pretty much just going to fail playing the ad. But if we just do that without telling the guy, without giving some kind of feedback, then he won't understand what is actually going on and why he can't push on that button and get his currency. So that's pretty annoying. We need to tell him, we need to give him some kind of feedback that it is not working because, well, we had a server error or the internet is not connected, or you're not connected to the internet. So what I plan on doing today is actually creating a pop-up system. So whenever something weird happens in our game and we need to explain something to the user, we just pop up something, we block his click, and we just make sure he understands what's going on, and then he can click on OK, or he clicks somewhere in the screen and it removes the pop-up, then he can start playing again. That is what we're going to do today, and in order to get this set up, there's like a few things I'd like to do first, is go over every single one of our scene, find the UI root, that is always the 2D UI roots, this thing, the base of the canvas, and we're going to tag it as a UI root. So here's the first one. Inside of my menu scene, I will go over to the tag section, hit add tag, and add a tag called UI root like this. So I'll write it this way, just make sure it is always written the same. Copy this, exit, go back on your UI root because it has not been applied, it's only created now, so you need to apply it. And here we go, so it is now here. Next one is the hub scene, your UI root is over here, tag it as UI root. And finally the game scene, it is named to the UI, but it's still the UI root, so let's tag it right away. Alright, so now that we have a way to actually find our UI root in every single scene, we are going to create our second non-destroyable object. So that is going to be done inside of the preloader. We're going to right click in here, create a new panel like this. So this is going to create a panel, a canvas, and also an event system. Now what I'd like you to do is actually rename this for Popup Manager. Leave everything on it, including the image, and what we're going to do in here is we're going to add a new script that we're going to call Popup Manager, of course. Open this guy up inside of MonoDevelop, and we're going to be defining a few things. So first off, let's make sure this is some kind of manager, the same way we always do. So public static Popup Manager instance, set get, and then we make sure that we set the instance in the start, so private void start instance is equal to this, and I can't type and I try to type too fast, so here we go. So we got our instance. Now let me explain to you what exactly is going to happen. So we've got this whole canvas, this whole panel here. I'd like this panel to be there all the time whenever our pop-up is there, because it is going to fade the screen a little bit. So say it's just going to be a black background and it has a little alpha on it, so you can still see through it, but you can tell that something is going on. just by looking at the screen. Now on top of this, I am going to have another panel, so another UI panel. This one is going to be smaller. That's actually going to be the window, the pop-up window. So I'll just put this in the very center, make the width something, say 300. That might be too big, so 275, and the height doesn't need to be that big, maybe 200. So something of the sort. Now this is going to be the window, and inside of that window is where I'll put a first text. So that text is going to be the title. Just make sure it is big enough, so maybe in bold, maybe font size of about 32, and I'll just put the width a little bit bigger as well, and then I'll put that at the very top here. So this is going to be the title of the pop-up. Then just after that, I will copy it, move it down, and that is going to be the description. So that's why it doesn't have to be that big. Put that in normal font, and let's just say something, let's just write something to test out. So we were unable to launch the ad. Are you sure you are connected to the internet? Then let's reduce the font size, something like that. I hope you guys can follow what I'm trying to do here. I will just scale it down a little bit. So this is going to be our pop-up. Of course, you resize it exactly the way you want. I'm just going to do something here, reduce the height, so something like that. Move these two down, and here we go. Right, so this is a description, or the message if you prefer, and that's our pop-up. Where is our pop-up manager? Here it is. So we're going to go back into here and actually start coding what we need. So there's a few things we're going to need in this case. We're going to need a public canvas group that we'll call canvas group, and then the two texts. The text, of course, we need to include the Unity engine.ui. We're going to do public text is equal to title text. And then finally, public text. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Public text, title text, and description text. So, something like that. Alright. The next step we need to take now is we're also going to keep track of the transform of the UI root. So, private transform UI root. Now, in the start, what I'd like to do is actually call a don't destroy unload, so we make sure to never actually destroy that object. So don't destroy unload, game object, and we'll also make sure we can't click on it. It doesn't block our raycast, it doesn't stop our gameplay, so we'll do canvas group dot alpha is equal to 0, canvas group, canvas group dot block raycast is equal to block raycast is equal to false, so we're not blocking the raycast. And finally, canvas group dot interactable is also equal to false. So this way we make sure that nothing is actually stopping us from playing the game whenever we launch the game, right? This is happening in the preloader, so it's going to hide the actual pop-up manager in the preloader. So by the time we get to the menu, nothing should be there, nothing should be seen. Alright, so now our function that we're going to be calling from outside whenever we'd like to see pop-up is going to be called show pop-up, because why not? It is going to take in parameter a string for the title and also a string for the message. So pretty much the two messages you see here. These are the only thing we're going to be able to modify it over there. Now, let's actually check. Do we have a UI root? So if UI root is equal to null, that means we don't have one, and we're going to say UI root is going to equal game object dot find object with tag, and we know that there is a object with the UI root tag in every single scene. So find game object with tag. If I can have my quotes by changing my language, here it is. UI root. Now make sure it is written the exact same way as your tags. Dot transform. Alright, so once we do have that transform, we're going to say transform canvas.setParent UI root. Now, why exactly do I do this? Let me just show you why I do this. So basically, this pop-up manager is going to be here whenever we actually start the game. So it is going to be on its own, just there, chilling. And then whenever we need to use it, to see it, it has to be behind something we call a canvas renderer. Now there's one here, but it just does not work because it needs a parent that has a canvas, an actual canvas. And that is why we actually need to take this and put it inside of a canvas for it to be rendered. As you could tell, right here it's hidden, and right there it's not hidden. And that is pretty much why we need to find something with a UI root on it. So in the preloader, I'll just leave it here. I don't really need, well, as of right now, I don't really need to put it anywhere else. So I'll leave it here, and then we can do our modification in this very canvas. That being said, let's go back in our code. So after the show popup and the set parent, we're going to say canvas group that alpha is equal to 1. So we're actually showing this now. We're going to make sure we actually block the clicks as well. So block raycast is equal to true. And canvas group, whoops, dot interactable, if I can write, is equal to true. So we're allowed to interact with the canvas if we have to. And we will have to in a moment. You'll see why. Just afterward, let's make sure we actually change the title. So title text.text is equal to title. And below this, description text.text is equal to message. And that's all we need for the show popup. So whenever we call this function, this thing pops in our face, and then it doesn't go away because we never actually remove it. So here is what I was thinking about doing. We're going to be creating another function just below that we'll call onClick. And we're going to have a button somewhere in our canvas. Whenever we click it, it is going to take the canvas group, put the alpha down to 0. Again, take the canvas group, put the block raycast to false, and finally take the canvas group again, interactable to false. And also, this is really important, we gotta be doing a transform set parent UI root dot parent, also known as the scene. So we're gonna be putting the pop-up manager back on the scene level and not inside of the actual UI root, because whenever we swap scene, we're not allowed to do a don't destroy unload on something that is contained. So if I try to explain it really quickly, say we are in the preloader and we try to swap scene right now. Let's actually try it out. Here's the error we get. Unassigned, no, that's not it. Oh, there it is. That's an actual warning. So don't destroy unload only works for root game object or component on root game object. In this case, it is not a root game object. It's actually a children of a game object. The canvas is the root. However, when we do a set parent of the canvas itself, well, the parent of the canvas is the scene, so it goes back here, and then we're good. So let's quickly fix our error. As you can tell, the canvas now we don't need it anymore, but we do need the pop-up manager. Now it's really hard to tell where it is, and don't worry about it, we just leave it here. Now we need to assign what is a canvas group. We don't have one, so let's go ahead and just add a canvas group to this object, to the pop-up manager, drag and drop it right here. We could have done a get component if you prefer, but I'll just do it like that. Now let's open it up. There is the title, so drag the title in here, description, drag it in here, and we should be pretty much good to go. However, we don't have a way to close it. We do have a function that is called onClick, and that removes it from our site and also removes the block raycast, but it is never being actually called. So now that is where I am just quickly going to put a canvas back. That is where we actually need a button somewhere. And what I had in mind is actually not taking this window and putting a button in it. I think it's too small. I think it's too annoying. I'm just going to put a button on this whole thing. So you just click anywhere but in the center. So how does that sound, guys? Does that sound stupid? I think it actually sounds quite good. So on the pop-up manager itself, I will add a button, click the plus sign, drag and drop myself actually, so the pop-up manager, and where is it at? It is, oh, I'm not actually allowed to do that. I gotta be drag and dropping my object and not the script. So the actual pop-up manager game object and not the component. Now in here, you will find the pop-up manager and the onClick function. Very well. We should be able to take this out of the canvas now, remove the canvas and the event system. We are going to put this script inside of the script folder because why not? Start from the preloader and hopefully nothing is broken. So as you could tell, no error here. Our pop-up manager is still chilling. It's still over there. And it goes from one scene to another. Alright. Now this is the actual moment where we decide to plug in our pop-up functions. So where exactly could we be doing that just to test it out? Just do the first initial test. In the first initial test, I think I'll be doing it in the show rewarded ad function, which is inside of the ad manager. The reason I want to do it here is because you can call this from the hub, you can call this from the game as well. So we can test it in two different scenes and we can test it after doing it in one scene. And I guess it's just a good place to test it out. Alright, now since I'm connected to the internet, I won't be able to get a crash. So I'll actually start by trying to do that. I'll take a debug.log, put it in my fail, unable to launch ad, and let me quickly disable the internet, so I'll be right back. And it is now off, so hopefully we can actually do that from here. It says fail to contact the server, so that's a good step. Let's try to launch an ad. So reset my save. We go here, press on use, and it goes like active, and it goes on cooldown as well, so that's definitely not something we wish to have. Alright, so we're gonna need to fix this as well. I should have tried it out the last episode, but I guess I didn't. So what I'm thinking about is that we never actually called the ready, and since we never called the ready, then our cooldown still gets called and we're unable to do anything at that point. So inside of the ad manager, I'll quickly code a fix. We're going to be putting this in a function really quickly, so let's do private void unable to call ad. And let's also send the currency while we're at it. So currency C or cur. Let's take what is inside of the show ad result over there, take the whole thing, put it in this function, and if we're failing this, we're simply going to be calling the unable to call ad with the same currency, which is in this case current currency. Alright. Now, if the advertisement is not ready, that means we're pretty much just failing to call the ad, so we're going to do another unable to call ad in an else statement. So else unable to call ad cure. In both cases, this is going to be called, and yep, so that should actually work. So hopefully we get this error now. Let's give it a small try. Are both my thing on cooldown? Yeah, they are. So that's getting a little bit annoying. I need to fix that. Alright, let's do it here. Unable to launch ad. We do get this, however, the cooldown doesn't seem to be reset. Oh, it is reset, it just does not update it properly. Okay, so it's a small bug that we're going to be taking care of again a little bit later on. Alright, so now this is fixed. We are going to head over to the ad manager where we were, and over here, show the user that he might not be connected to the internet. So that's where we're going to do a pop-up manager instance show, and we're going to say add error, that's the title, that's what is going to be written in bold, and then on the right side of here is what I'm going to actually tell them. So are you sure you are connected to the internet? And I think we already had a good message for that. Let me just find it. I'm just going to copy this over in my string. Alright, so here it is. We were unable to launch the ad. Are you sure you're connected to the internet? Let's close this off, and hopefully now we do get the final result we're looking for. Unexpected symbol, maybe not. So what's wrong with this now? Forgot the semicolon, alright. So when we hit play, we head over to, well, we do a reset save just to make sure. We head over to our game, and we try to launch an ad. That's the first one. We were unable to launch it, so ad error, we're unable to launch the ad. Are you sure you're connected to the internet? Now once we fix our thing, this is actually going to not be on cooldown and not displaying a currency, still going to say use. And as you could tell, I just clicked anywhere and it got me out of that window. So let's try it again over here. And that works. And as soon as I click somewhere, it is now reset. Let's actually swap over to the game scene. The cooldown should be reset. So, okay, so that definitely is a bug again. So as you can tell, that did work. Now we're gonna reset the save once more, head over to our game. Well, actually, we're gonna do one here and then head over to our game. So let's do gold. That doesn't work. We click anywhere. We go inside of our game, and hopefully the pop-up manager is still here. So we're gonna go under abilities, call this, and as you can tell, it's still here. It still exists, and it's not broken, basically. And we're unable to click on button here, so assume that we lose, like right this. If I click on OK, it is not going to work because we're blocking the raycast. And that's perfect because we're not supposed to be allowed to swap scene while there is something happening there. But it does work perfectly fine, so all we're really left to do at this point is to plug in at some other places we need to see it. So another place where we could be putting that pop-up is whenever we don't have enough gold to buy something. That's fairly annoying, so just double click on your error, or I mean your debug.log, and I'm gonna go down there, do a popup.show, whoops, popup manager, .instance.show, show popup. We're gonna be saying too poor. No, that doesn't work. Does that work? Okay, sure, let's do that. Why not? You don't have enough gold to afford this upgrade. Something of the sort, I guess. So we should actually be good with that. If I head over to the preloader, we launch this because I like testing out every single thing I do. Sorry about that. Too poor, you don't have enough gold. And we can just click anywhere and it just quickly go back to the game. And plus it stops the user from just spamming that button, which I guess is fine. And he starts to understand that he's not pressing on the right thing. Where else do we need it? So abilities, use, that's fine. We can't click here, that's okay. That's an ad. My internet is back on, so it did reward me with something. Same thing with this one. And so we don't really need anything in this place, actually. As far as the research, here. This one is annoying as well. So not enough gold or not enough loot, depending on which one we don't have. So I'm going to take this whole line, copy it over. You don't have enough gold to afford this upgrade. And then in this line, let's try to actually customize it a little bit. Too poor, you don't have enough. And then in between these two things, we're gonna say, do we have a reference to the loot? We probably do. Oh yeah, so it is research info. Let's head back to our string at the very bottom here and research info. Where is our actual research info? Sorry, oh, it's called info, right? So info.loot to string, and this way we're actually going to get the name that is inside of the enum. So if we take a look now, we head over to our game, we give ourselves some gold, and let's just do it here, why not? Too poor, you don't have enough gold to afford this upgrade. That's perfect. Now, if we cheat a little bit, and we give ourselves enough gold, currency gold, we're gonna have 999998, why not? We try to buy this upgrade now. It says too poor, you don't have enough silk to afford this upgrade, so that's perfect. That's exactly the name of the the loot we're trying to use. So that does work. Now, where else do we need this? Cell for, so that's good. We don't need one for that. What about these thing here? We could actually be putting a pop-up text in these buttons. So let's go ahead and do that. They are under the, I think it's called tower stat container. Oh no, it's actually loot menu container. So loot menu container, we're gonna go in that. In the convert function over here, if amount is bigger than 10, bigger or equal than 10, then we do it. And if it's not, we're gonna say popup manager.instance.show not enough, and then we can say not enough plus loot.toString. Then the message would be you need at least 10, give it a space, loot.toString again. Oh, forgot the plus here. So you need at least 10, say rock, in order to accomplish this action, in order to do this. And here we go. Again, let's give it a try. Going to clear my console. Not enough rock. You need at least 10 rock in order to do this action, or I mean to do this. Not enough log, not enough silk, plank, bricks, iron ingots, and that definitely does not fit our title, so we'll have to find something for that. Maybe put the actual title on best fit. So if we go back to the preloader, find the window title best fit. All right. And let's do just a final check, just make sure that everything is good. So we don't need anything here. We have pretty much all we need here. That's fine. That's also fine. And we could be making just a simple check here. Are you even allowed to go on the internet? Like, do you have internet connection? But I think we'll be doing that at the very end, because, you know, when they click on that, they actually get taken to a website, and the website is going to tell them, well, it's going to do the right thing, or it's not going to load at all, so they'll probably know at that point. And yeah, we also got a level up button here, so I don't know if it's going to crash or not. Let's actually quickly empty our gold. Oh, that's the final place we should actually be putting it. So on this button, double click on the don't have enough money, and we're going to be replacing it for this thing here. So too poor, don't have enough gold to afford this upgrade. And that is going to be pretty much it for this episode, guys. We did the pop-up manager. There is another alternative of that pop-up manager we need to do in the future for the reset save. So it's basically the same exact thing, but now you have option are you sure or not. So whenever we reset our save, we actually get some kind of option. And guys, yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys learned something, and if you did, please leave me a like. I really appreciate that. If you have any question or comment, you can leave it in the comment section below. Other than that, please subscribe for more tutorials like these. And I will see you guys in the next one.